There are a lot of earbuds to choose from now, and especially with the newer open-ear designs, there's even more. And I get offered free products all the time to review. Seriously, why are you laughing? I'm a big YouTube influencer, so just keep watching. But I turn most of them down because the product or the company just doesn't fit with my channel, or I don't like the product. But I love products that offer something unique and different. And the ACEFAST AceFit Pro open earbuds do offer something different. First, they got this screen on the case, which gives you the battery percentage of the case and the battery percentage of each bud inside, which is really cool. But then they are also the first open earbuds that have a night safety mode, which is right here. So these will glow and blink like that while you're going running at night or whatever you're doing, and it'll give you a little more visibility. I would like to thank ACEFAST for providing me this review sample, but of course, the opinions in this video are mine alone. Now in this video, I'm going to be talking about the design, the comfort, the sound, the price, and the features of these buds. And you might have seen these before as a Kickstarter campaign, but now these are available directly from Amazon. The retail price in the United States is $126. I'll leave a link in the description here if you're interested in purchasing them or getting more info on them. So these buds are super light, and that's not the only reason why they're comfortable. The hook here is very thin, very flexible, and the battery unit and the earbud I think are smaller than the average earbud. These are very comfortable. If you were wearing these, you'd kind of forget that you're wearing them after a little while. There's no pressure on the ears at all. These are just very comfortable earbuds. Now AceFAST says that the AceFit Pro is coated with ultra soft supermolecular liquid silicone. Is that good? Well, I think so, because they're actually very comfortable. That's the only way I could tell. And very soft here, no irritation on the skin or anything like that. Now, these are 7.6 grams, which are actually very light. If you have open earbuds, you can put them on the scale and check them out, but these are probably lighter than those. And the ear hooks here are made with ultra-thin 0.7 millimeter nickel titanium wire inside here, and these actually fit my ears great, very comfortable. There's no pushing on the top of the ear, no pressure or anything like that, and they just sit where they're supposed to, and they stay where they're supposed to, which is really nice. And I wear glasses full-time, and I had no issues with these and wearing my glasses, so super comfortable. Okay, let's talk about the colors. Well, they come in green, pink, purple, and white. And the ones I have here are white if you're interested in getting those. Okay, let's talk about a little bit about the speaker system you have here. There's a 3-magnet ultra-linear speaker, and the drivers are 20 by 8 millimeters. So these are very big drivers, and I thought they produced a good amount of bass, and I thought they sounded very good. So these are rated for IP54, which means they're not dust-proof, but they have very good dust protection. And the water protection on here is protected from water splashing in any direction, which means the device can handle any water spray, like light rain or sweat or anything like that, but no submersion in the water. So no swimming with these. And of course, when you clean them, you just wipe them down. You don't drop them in the sink. Just kind of basic stuff here. Now, one of the standout features are the lights that I talked about a little bit before. So the night safety mode on here is the lights that are on the buds, and they're visible from over 10 meters. And I just have this video here because I thought it would show you a little better than what I can do. Now you can slightly change these lights in the app, and I'll show you the things that you can do with that in just a moment. And you can turn these on and off very easily in the app, and you can also turn them on and off just by tapping the bud here 4 times. And there you go. Now, I would have probably preferred to not have a logo on there as my light. Maybe just a white light on here might have been a little nicer, but a light is a light, right? So the lights on here are super bright, and they make you much more visible, but I wouldn't recommend relying only on these for your night safety protection. You definitely should have other reflectors and other things. My lawyers told me to put that in there, so, that's why that's there. I have a whole team that works on these videos, by the way. You don't realize the behind-the-scene operations I have going on here. It's not just me, believe me. So I'm not going to do an unbox, but I just wanted to show you the presentation here because it actually is very nice. And it seems like companies kind of forget you're buying a product, you kind of want to see a nice unbox and get a little nice presentation in there. It's like when you go out to a restaurant, you don't want things just thrown on your plate. You want it to look a little nice, right? So let me just show you what's in here. You got a nice plastic shell. This is the case and the buds inside. We'll go over that a little more in a bit. And you do get a very long charging cable, actually. Look at this. And USB-C to USB-C, which is great. And the charging port is on the bottom. So this thing is just formed like that. And that just goes in there. So now you could just charge it and leave it like that. You could actually put it on this side. That's going to stay in there just fine. So even though the charging port's on the bottom because of the slickness of the case here, no issues with that. Then you also do get a little cleaning cloth here because you got a nice clear screen on here and you want to keep it that way, right? And then you get some papers. We don't need to go into that. Okay, so let's talk a little more about the case. So the case here is a very slick design, And actually, it's a little too slick, I think. It is actually just a little, slippery. But I haven't dropped it yet, so, that's good. And I'm being a little picky here, but it's actually a little hard to open, sometimes. I know what you're thinking. Paul, put on your big boy pants and, shut up. But just kind of pointing these things out to you. Now, you also do get the LED light inside here, and then you got the little screen out here. Now, if you throw any kind of LEDs or screen on anything, I'm pretty much guaranteed to buy it. So I do love this. But these lights are actually very functional. Like I said, you do get the battery percentage of the case right here. And you can see here you get the battery percentage of each bud, and you get 4 bars here. So, that's pretty good. 25, 50, 75, or 100%. So that kind of breaks it up pretty well. Very easy just at a glance to see what's going on. Now, the light here, you can only turn on when you open the case. So if you tap it or anything like that, it's not going to go on. So if this is in your pocket or your bag, it's not going to turn the light on all day and kill your battery. So no issues with that. You got to open it to turn the lights on. Now, I'll show you how to change these colors in just a moment. You do that in the app, and I'll show you how to do that. And of course, the right and left, I think, are labeled pretty well here. The R and the L. The L, I wish that was maybe just, black or something like that, color-wise, but, that's okay. And then we got the R here. Very easy to put these in, even in the dark, very easy to put them back into the case and put them the right way. I had no issues with that. Now, of course, the case here is no wireless charging. That usually doesn't happen on open earbuds. And the port is on the bottom, which is just a little unusual, but, I'll get over it. For the shake test here, it is actually was a little tough to do because the case is a little slick. So it's hard to hold just the half here and see if it's going to open up on its own. But if I open it, the magnets in here were fairly good. They will shake and you can get them out. And they're not coming out yet. They're just banging. And you can get them out. But, that was a pretty good amount of shaking. So I don't think you're going to have any issues with that. And only one came out. So, that's pretty good. Okay, so let's talk about the battery. Well, you get 6 hours of charge on the buds, and you get 25 hours total with the case. And you can wear just one bud while you're charging the other one, which is great. You also do get quick charging on these, so you get a 5-minute charge, gives you 2 hours of playtime, which is not bad at all. And to fully charge the case, to go from 0 to 100, it's going to take about 2 hours. Okay, so let me just show you the touch controls on here. It's actually very sensitive, and you do get a wide touch area here, so very good. I'll just do the volume here. Hopefully you can see it. Changing, very easy to do. So it's playing right now. Double tap, it stops. So, that works out great. And then if you want to do the next track. And then if you want to do the next track, I had the wrong bud here. But if you want to do the, that's playing right now, let's do the next track. It's 3 taps, and then you go to the next track. And these touch controls are customizable, so I will show you that in just a second. These touch controls actually work out great, and the touch panel here is very sensitive. You do get a big area, so it worked great for me. And also, I don't know if you heard in the video here, but every time you tap it, you do get a little audio feedback, so you know if you're tapping it. And sometimes with buds like this, if you have to tap it, the 2 taps and 3 taps, sometimes it's hard to get the timing just right, but with these, it was actually, no problems at all. Okay, so now if you push and hold this, you're going to get the Google Assistant. Play the next song, please. I don't know why I'm so polite to my digital assistants. But there you go. And, so that worked out perfect. And there was no setup at all with this. This was just built in. I didn't have to link it or set it or anything. It just worked perfectly. So, that's great news. Let's get into the app here. It's called the AceFast, and I'll show you a little more about those touch controls. You get this from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store, no problem. Let's open it up. And this is what you got. We're going to connect there. You do get the battery percentage of each, just a graph, not a number, which I usually prefer. So you got the buds here. This is the first part, and then you got this little arrow here. Let's just do it the case first, right? Because it's nice and easy. So this is the lighting effects. So if I click on it, so we got to put the handsets in here. So I put the buds in the case, and then you get a battery percentage for the buds and the case. So now let's go into lighting effects. Let's click on that. Now these are the options. The breathing light. So that's actually this part, and you can see here it's kind of turning on and off. That's the breathing. And now we got short and long. So if I do the long, I don't know if you could tell the difference here. And then I'll do the short. So that's the only variation on the buds. You can't change the colors at all with that. And then again, you could also change the light just having the earbuds. You just tap it 4 times and it will automatically turn it on and off. And there's no way to disable that. But I don't think you're going to hit it 4 times by accident. So I think we're okay. Now, the lighting color has to do with just the case. So this is the lighting effects that I have here. I got 8 different colors, and it's only for the case. It's only for this light right in here, and we could just do yellow. You could see that. There's orange, green, a darker green, blue, or light blue or so, pink, another blue, and then a purple. So those are the 8 colors that you get, which is kind of cool, I think. I like that. Okay, now let's swipe out of here, and we'll go into the buds. And these are a couple of things we can do here. We got the lighting effects. If you click on that, you can turn them on and off. Let me just show you that. So you could do that real easy. Again, you could just tap it 4 times, so you don't need the app, but it's easy to do there. Now we got sound effects. Let's click on that. And these is our equalizers here. We get 5 different options. Well, technically 4 different options, and then you custom EQ. Now the custom EQ, let's get into it here. You got 8 bands, which is not too bad. And then you adjust it to whatever you want, right? I could set it however I want. And that's done. Now we hit complete. Now, I wish I could name this and maybe get 2 EQ settings, where I could save, but it's just the custom EQ. But if I go back to bass now, and then I go back to my custom EQ, it saves. So at least that's nice, so that it's always there. And once I set it and I get it the way I really like it, it will always save it. I can go to anything else here and it will be fine. Now, gesture control is touch control. I like it when it's called touch control. I don't know why they call it gesture, but, picky things. I'm trying to, get over that. So here we go here. These are our options. We got click here, single click, double click, triple click, and long press. The only things that is a little quirky with it is that these are the options for the single press. And now if I go to double click, this is everything here. You saw that change. We got the mobile assistant now. I can't do that on the single press for some reason. But if I go to triple click, I'm going to lose the volume. So now I can't change the volume. If I did want to have it for a triple click, I can't do that. And also for the long press, I can't do the volume. So the volume is only on the single and the double click. And you also don't get your assistant on the single click. So there you go. We get it on double click and everything else. Now, we could do the left and the right, and the same exact features on the left and the right. If you don't want to use the touch controls at all, you could just do no operation. So that's easy to do. And then the right, again, we got the same exact features on all of them. Now, the only thing I noticed is that by default, the volume is set for the single click, and the play and pause is set for the double click, which would work just fine, except maybe if I had it really low and I wanted to raise the volume up loud and I, kind of wanted to do it quickly, you'd tap, tap, tap for the single tap to make the volume go up, but then it's sometimes registered as a double tap, and then just pause the music. So that was the only issue, but if you're just raising the volume a step or 2 here and there, no big deal. But very easy just to change that if I want, right? Okay, so that's the whole app and all the touch controls. I was only supposed to go over the touch controls, but I got excited and I did the whole app here. But it's a pretty basic app, but pretty functional, so that's nice. Very easy to use. I don't think anyone's going to have any issues with it. And let me just show you what these 2 icons up here. This is if you want to, add another device. And then this little hamburger icon up here is just if you want those options. So there you go. Now, let's talk about the sound quality on these. Now, of course, you would expect to lose a little bit of bass when you compare these to like in-ear earbuds. And you do lose a little bit of that thumping bass and some warmness of the music, but honestly, I thought it sounded very good. The bass was very deep, very clear. The mids were good. The highs were very clear. I had no issues at all with the sound on these. And of course, the sound is affected a little bit by how it fits. So if this speaker is not sitting by your ear or a little high or low, you may not get the full effect, but I had no issues listening to these for a long time with a bunch of different music genres. Now also keep in mind, the benefit of this design, sound-wise, is that you can be aware of your surroundings. That's one of the main goals of these. So you can hear traffic, you can hear someone calls you, you can hear horns, things like that. But that's also a negative, because if there is a lot of surrounding noise, then that's going to bleed into your music and the experience is not quite as nice. Whereas in the earbuds will block out that sound that's coming from the outside and isolate your music a little bit better. You lose a little bit of that with the open-ear design. And let's talk about the volume on these. I thought these got very loud. And how do I judge that? Well, I put it up to max and I was still able to tolerate it, but it was kind of uncomfortable, so I couldn't tolerate it for too long. I don't think most people are going to have any issues with the volume on these. And keep in mind, again, the goal of these is to be aware of your surroundings. So you're not going to usually put the volume all the way up to block all the noise out because you kind of want to hear the outside stuff. And if you put the volume up really loud, it gets a little distorted, a little muffled, but I didn't notice any issues until I got up over 80%. These earbuds do not have any ANC, but they have something called ENC, which stands for Environmental Noise Cancellation, and that's helpful when you're on phone calls. It will block out some of the background noise to make your voice sound clear to the other person. I'll show you an example of that in just a moment. Now, there is some noise leakage with these buds, and what that is when you're wearing the buds and you have your music on, people next to you might be able to hear what is going on. So I found if you're listening to music at about 40% volume in a quiet room, a person about 3 feet away could hear the noise, but they couldn't actually hear what was actually playing. And if you're having a conversation, they'll hear some noise, but they won't hear what the actual conversation was. Now, if there's any kind of noise in the room, that all gets blocked out, and then the noise leakage will be much more minimized. So it's just something to keep in mind if you're in an office or something like that and you have your music playing. If it's loud enough and the room is quiet enough, other people might be able to hear what's going on a little bit. So let's talk about some connections. These connect with Bluetooth 5.4 and they do have multi-point connection. These work with Apple, Android, and Windows computers. The buds connect quickly and they stayed connected when I was using them. I had no issues at all with that. And the codecs supported are the standard AAC and SBC, and it also does have LHDC. A few other things to keep in mind here. There is no special gaming mode on here, and there's no voice controls, and there's no Find My Buds, which are not usually available on open-ear earbuds. Now, there is no in-ear detection with these, so if you are wearing them playing music and then you take one out or take them both out, they're not going to turn off. So just keep that in mind and make sure you turn it off, otherwise you're going to kill your battery. This is how the ACEFAST AceFit Pro Open earbuds sound in a quiet environment. How does that sound to everybody? This is the background noise I will use for the background noise test. And this is how the AceFit Pro Open earbuds sound in a simulated noisy environment with background cafe noise. Are you able to hear me over the noise? Let me know what you think in the comments. Okay, I don't know what you thought, but I thought the earbuds actually blocked out most of the background noise. So I'm going to make the background noise much louder and see how the earbuds do with that. So this is the background noise that I'm going to use. Okay, so I made the background noise much, much louder. I don't think I'd be in an environment this loud trying to make a phone call. But let me know what you think. How does it sound? So this is the conclusion of the video. Why would you buy these buds? Well, if you don't like the in-ear design or you can't wear them because of infections or some other ear issues, then these would be perfect. If you're looking for a more secure fit when you're working out or running, I think these offer more security than an in-ear bud. I think these will stay on your ear much better. Now, another big reason for these and the open ear design in general is safety. You are aware of your surroundings with these and you could hear traffic and horns and other things like that. Now, the AceFit Pro open earbuds have a unique extra safety feature, and that is the night light safety lights on both buds themselves. And these would be great if you do a lot of running at night, just one more extra thing to help out and try to keep you a little safer. So definitely consider these for that. And I think these buds sounded great. The bass was actually very good. The vocals, the mids, everything was very clear and distinct, and it was just sounded very good. I had no issues listening to my music all day with these. And then they are also very light and very comfortable. So I would wear them all day, and sometimes I would shut off the music for whatever reason I was doing something, and I forget that they were on my ear. I'd go check to put them back on, and they would already be on my ears. I mean, that's how comfortable these things are. If you're allowed to wear these all day for work, no problems with comfort on these. If you have these, or if you decide to buy them, let me know what you think of them in the comments. We'd really like to hear your opinion. Please consider subscribing and liking the video. I really do appreciate that. Thanks for your support, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.